What if I told you that the world's most luxurious city is secretly fighting problems no one talks about? A city surrounded by endless desert. A city surrounded by a futuristic metropolis that once had no addresses at all. Police that chase criminals in artificial islands slowly battling the ocean. And a place that went from a poor fishing village to global power in just one lifetime. Dubai looks perfect from the outside, but behind the skyscrapers and luxury lies a reality that will shock you. These are not rumors. These are real facts that completely change how you see Dubai forever. FACT no. One Dubai's running out of sand. Shocking reality. Dubai is globally known as a city rising from endless desert. But one of the most shocking realities is that Dubai cannot actually use most of its own desert sand to build its skyscrapers, roads, and mega projects. And this has created a silent crisis that very few people talk about. Desert sand looks perfect to the human eye. But at a microscopic level, it is almost useless for modern construction. Over thousands of years, wind erosion smooths desert sand grains into round, polished shapes, and when these grains are mixed with cement and water, they refuse to lock together properly, producing weak concrete that can crack or fail under heavy loads. Modern buildings, especially the record-breaking towers Dubai is famous for, require sand with sharp, angular edges so particles can grip each other and form strong bonds. And this type of sand is found mostly in riverbeds, lakes, and seabeds, not deserts. This means that despite being surrounded by one of the largest deserts on Earth, Dubai has to import enormous quantities of usable sand from other countries, including Australia and distant coastal regions, turning sand into a globally traded resource. The situation becomes even more extreme when you consider Dubai's artificial islands like Palm Jumeirah and the World Islands, which required hundreds of millions of tons of specially selected sand dredged from the seabed, carefully washed, graded, and placed using advanced engineering techniques to ensure stability. Even after construction, these islands are not truly permanent, as waves, tides, and underwater currents slowly shift sand over time, forcing constant monitoring and reinforcement. On a global scale, sand has become the second most consumed natural resource in the world after water, driven by explosive urban growth, infrastructure expansion, and megacities like Dubai. This rising demand has triggered illegal sand mining in many countries, destroying rivers, collapsing coastlines, and damaging ecosystems, which has pushed governments to introduce strict regulations on sand extraction. For Dubai, this means higher costs, supply uncertainty, and increasing environmental pressure as the city continues to expand with luxury beaches, futuristic developments, and massive construction projects. Experts warn that suitable construction sand could become scarce in the coming decades, turning sand into a strategic material similar to oil, where access and control could shape the future of entire cities. To prepare for this, engineers and scientists are experimenting with alternatives such as crushed rock, recycled construction waste, and advanced concrete mixtures that require less natural sand. While some futuristic projects are exploring 3D printed buildings and synthetic aggregates, this single fact completely destroys the popular illusion of Dubai as a city built effortlessly from its surrounding desert. Behind the glittering skyline, luxury cars, and world records lies a fragile dependency on global supply chains, imported materials, and environmental compromises. If sand shortages worsen or international regulations tighten, Dubai's rapid growth model could face serious challenges, proving that even the most futuristic city on Earth is still limited by the basic laws of nature and the resources it depends on. FACT, no. 2. Dubai once had no proper address system, a city without addresses. For decades, Dubai operated in a way that feels almost impossible to imagine in today's hyper-digital world. The city functioned without a traditional address system, meaning most homes, offices, and even major buildings had no street names or house numbers, the way cities like London, New York, or Paris do. Instead of addresses, people relied entirely on landmarks, directions, and local knowledge. If someone asked where you lived, you wouldn't give a street name or number. You would say something like behind the big mosque, next to the blue building, or near the roundabout, with a clock tower. Even emergency services, delivery drivers, and government officials navigated the city this way. This wasn't because Dubai was disorganized or careless, but because of how fast the city grew. Just a few decades ago, Dubai was a small trading and fishing settlement where everyone knew everyone else, so formal addresses were unnecessary. When oil wealth and global investment arrived, the city expanded at a speed rarely seen in human history. Entire neighborhoods appeared almost overnight. Roads were constantly being rebuilt, and buildings were demolished and replaced so quickly that assigning permanent addresses felt pointless. A street that existed today could vanish tomorrow, and a landmark used 4 directions could be gone within months. This created a unique urban culture where navigation depended more on memory and social awareness than maps. Taxi drivers became legendary for their mental maps of the city, often knowing thousands of landmarks by heart. Longtime residents could guide someone across the city without ever mentioning a street name. This system perfectly matches Dubai's fast-changing urban landscape. While many cities struggled to update outdated address systems, Dubai skipped the old model entirely and jumped straight into a digital future. What makes this fact even more shocking is that millions of people lived and worked in Dubai for years without ever having a formal address, something that feels unthinkable in most parts of the world. This address-free past reveals how young Dubai truly is as a city, and how its rapid transformation forced it to invent solutions no other major city had attempted at such scale. It also shows Dubai's mindset. Instead of slowly fixing old systems, the city often creates entirely new ones that match its pace and ambition. Today, well, Dubai looks like a perfectly planned futuristic metropolis from the outside. Hidden beneath that image is the memory of a city that once navigated purely by landmarks, trust, and human knowledge. This single fact captures Dubai's extreme evolution, from a place where directions were passed by word of mouth, to a city where your location can be defined by a single digital code, proving that Dubai didn't just grow fast, it rewrote the rules of how a modern city can function. FACT no. 3. Dubai police uses supercars for a hidden strategic reason. When people see Dubai police driving Lamborghinis, Bugattis, Ferraris, and most assume it is just a display of luxury or a way to show off wealth. But the real reason behind this decision is far more strategic and psychological than it appears on the surface. Dubai is one of the world's biggest tourist hubs, hosting millions of visitors every year, including business leaders, celebrities, and ultra-wealthy individuals who are used to the highest standards. The presence of supercars in the police fleet instantly captures global attention, turning law enforcement into a powerful branding tool for the city. Every photo shared online, every viral video of a Dubai police supercar patrolling the streets, acts as free marketing that reinforces Dubai's image as a futuristic, safe, and extraordinary destination. However, the strategy goes deeper than branding. And tourist hotspots, where fast response and high-speed capability actually matter. In rare situations involving supercar owners or high-speed incidents, A standard patrol car would simply be unable to keep up, while a police supercar can match or exceed the speed of almost any civilian vehicle on the road. Knowing that even a hypercar cannot outrun the police reduces the temptation for reckless behavior among wealthy drivers. Police officers driving these vehicles frequently interact with tourists. This approach aligns perfectly with Dubai's broader strategy of blending security with experience. Financially, the fleet is far less wasteful than it appears. Minimizing operational costs. The result is a police fleet that looks extravagant, but functions as a carefully calculated investment in deterrence, branding, and rapid response. On a deeper level, these vehicles reflect Dubai's philosophy of doing everything differently, where other cities rely on fear or heavy militarization to enforce law. This fact challenges the assumption that luxury and law enforcement cannot coexist. Fact number 4, Dubai's artificial islands are slowly sinking. A silent future risk. Dubai's artificial islands, especially Palm Jumeirah and the World Islands, are often celebrated as engineering miracles. But beneath their postcard-perfect appearance lies a long-term risk that experts quietly monitor. These islands are not as permanent as they look and are slowly shifting, settling, and sinking over time. The islands were created by dredging massive amounts of sand from the seabed and spraying it into shape using GPS-guided technology, a process that allowed engineers to form complex designs visible from space. However, unlike natural land that forms over thousands of years and compacts naturally, artificial islands are essentially piles of sand placed in the ocean and forced to behave like solid ground. Over time, gravity causes this sand to compact, meaning the land gradually settles lower. At the same time, ocean currents, waves, and tides continuously erode the edges, moving sand away grain by grain. Palm Jumeirah was designed with advanced breakwaters to reduce wave energy, but even these structures require constant maintenance to prevent erosion. The World Islands face even greater challenges because of their scattered layout, which exposes them more directly to sea forces, making development difficult and expensive. Engineers use continuous monitoring systems, underwater surveys, and satellite data to track changes in elevation and movement, allowing them to intervene before problems become critical. Solutions include sand replenishment, reinforcement of breakwaters, and advanced foundation techniques for buildings. Despite these efforts, maintaining artificial islands is an ongoing battle against nature rather than a one-time achievement. This reality exposes the hidden cost of building land where none existed before. While artificial islands symbolize Dubai's ambition to reshape geography itself, they also represent a long-term commitment to constant engineering, investment, and risk management. The fact that some islands remain undeveloped years after completion highlights how complex and uncertain these projects are. This doesn't mean Dubai's islands are about to disappear tomorrow, but it does mean their future depends on continuous human intervention. If maintenance ever stops, nature will slowly reclaim what was taken. This fact transforms the way we view Dubai's iconic coastline, not as permanent land, but as a fragile balance between human ambition and natural forces. It serves as a reminder that even the most advanced engineering cannot fully escape the laws of physics and the power of the sea, making Dubai's artificial islands one of the most fascinating and risky experiments in modern urban history. Fact number 5, Dubai was just a fishing village 50 years ago, one of the fastest transformations in human history. Half a century ago, the land where Dubai's glittering skyline now stands looked nothing like the futuristic metropolis the world knows today until the mid-20th century. Dubai was a small coastal settlement whose economy depended almost entirely on fishing, poor diving, and basic trade. Most people lived in simple coral stone or palm front houses called barasti, built to survive extreme heat rather than to impress. There were no skyscrapers, no highways, no luxury malls, and no global brands. The population was tiny, infrastructure was minimal, and life followed the rhythm of the sea. Everything began to change after the discovery of oil in the 1960s. But what makes Dubai extraordinary is not oil itself. It is how quickly and deliberately the city used that wealth. Instead of relying only on oil exports, Dubai's leadership invested aggressively in trade, ports, aviation, tourism, and real estate, planning for a future where oil would not be the main source of income. Projects like Jebel Ali Port, which was once surrounded by empty desert, turned Dubai into a global logistics hub connecting east and west. Dubai International Airport grew from a modest airstrip into one of the busiest airports on Earth within a single generation. Roads, power grids, water desalination plants, and entire neighborhoods were built at a speed that most cities would consider impossible. In just a few decades, Dubai jumped from traditional life directly into hypermodernity, skipping many stages of gradual urban development that other cities experienced over centuries. What makes this transformation even more shocking is that many of the people who grew up in fishing families lived to see the Burj Khalifa rise from the ground, becoming the tallest building in the world. Very few places on Earth have experienced such extreme change within a single human lifetime. This rapid growth also brought challenges, including cultural shifts, environmental pressure, and dependence on migrant labor. But Dubai managed these pressures by constantly adapting and reinventing itself. The city became a symbol of what focused vision, strategic investment, and speed can achieve. This fact forces us to rethink how cities are born. Dubai was not shaped slowly by history. It was engineered by choice, from wooden boats and pearl divers to supercars and smart cities. Dubai's journey feels almost unreal, like watching centuries of development compressed into just a few decades. This transformation is not just impressive, it is unprecedented, making Dubai one of the most extreme examples of human ambition rewriting geography, economy, and lifestyle in modern history.